it's been over 2 years now where they're dying, they're starving. The people over there are in so much pain, and like the world's just watching it. The world's just coming up with excuses for it. It's wild, and yeah, for me, it just makes me want to work that much harder for them. It makes me want to go to the gym and actually or run that extra mile, lift that extra weight because I can't lose. There's no way I'm going to let the people see me not get my hand raised. When they see me fight that day, they're going to see that flag get raised. When they see me win that day, they're going to see that flag get raised. They're going to see me get on the mic and talk about them. They're going to see me get on the mic and be a voice for them. And the only way I can be that voice is by continuing to win. So I have to just keep continuing to work, keep continuing to push it. And it's all in God's hands, right? God has a plan for everything. And I'm hoping that this finally comes to an end soon.
He is the UFC welterweight champion of the world. He makes his return to action in just a matter of days at this point, headlining UFC 315 in Montreal. It is always my great pleasure to welcome back the champ, Belal Muhammad, with his rocking his new basketball jersey. I see there.
Yeah, you already know, brother. These jerseys are sick. Everybody keeps asking me about them, so make sure you guys hit the link in my bio and get yourself one.
Absolutely. So, Belal, of course, I know we talk often, big opportunity here coming up, your first title defense, headlining the card in Montreal. Can you kind of give me a sense of like the different feeling though? Because back in December, you're going to fight Shavkat, who was this highly touted kind of boogeyman, this monster, so to speak. And then you get Jack, who is undefeated in the UFC, but you went from being like very even odds to now you're, in my opinion, I think with the odds, you're pretty heavy favorite in this fight. So does it feel any different, or do you kind of keep everything very like even tempered?
Yeah, for myself, I really don't rarely look at the odds. I always like to be even tempered, and then just focus on the task at hand. Right? There's always going to be people that are going to be like, "Oh, this is a hard fight or easy fight," or "Oh, you can just do this." But every fighter is different. Every fighter's fight's different. And even for Jack, right? He's been out over a year. I'm sure he's been working on stuff. He's going to be a different version of himself. But I'm the best version of myself I've ever been. I'm the best I've ever felt. And like the excitement I have just to go out there and fight, like I'm on another level, especially that time off when I couldn't take that fight in December. And I was out for 6 weeks. It just like rejuvenated me, and it made me remember and feel that feeling beforehand of the hunger that I had to be here, the hunger that I had to chase this dream, the hunger that I had to get this title. And we're never satisfied. So I'm always looking at the next goal, always looking at the next obstacle, and Jack's in my way. So I got to end them.
There was no short notice here because technically the Shavkat fight never technically got rebooked, because when we just got announced, it was you and Jack. Was there any disappointment at all that this wasn't Shavkat, or because this wasn't actually a short notice switch, like we didn't find out yesterday that you swapped from Shavkat to Jack, did you just have to kind of move on? Because I know how badly you wanted that Shavkat fight. You want to take that O from him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it sucked because we were already in camp for him. We already had video and tape of him, and I had ideas of what I want to do with him. But at the end of the day, it's like for me to cement my legacy as the best welterweight to ever do it, I got to fight all these guys anyway. I'm excited because Jack has a long winning streak. I think he has 15 or 16 wins in a row. So that double-digit winning streak, I want to take that from him. And the way that he fights, he always brings it. And for myself, especially these last couple of fights, I've been using my hands a lot. I've been using the Canelo boxing, and I want to put it to the test, right? I want to put it to the test and have that moment where I go, that's why I'm the best boxer in the UFC. That's why I'm the best boxer in the welterweight division. And all these people are going to keep hating. They're going to keep wondering how we keep doing it. But we just keep growing and we keep getting better.
You mentioned we've seen the improvements in your striking and how much you worked on that. I always go back to the Sean Brady fight, showing off your hands in that fight, knocking him out. And we've seen what Sean Brady's been doing since then. Like the guy has looked unbeatable since you beat him. But Jack is well known for the knockout power. But there's no denying, Belal, that his fight against Gilbert Burns showed he did have some struggles on the ground. And I love Gilbert, but I think you would be fine with me saying you're a better wrestler and grappler than Gilbert, like in terms of takedowns and wrestling. Does he give you an easier path to victory? I'll never get into game plan, but does he give you an easier path to victory? Because that, if there's a glaring weakness in Jack's game, it has been his wrestling.
Yeah, whenever I go into a fight, you obviously look up the opponent's weaknesses. I try to manage that and strategize toward that. So for me, right, I could beat him in many different ways. I could outstrike him if I want to. I could out kickbox him if I want to, or I could out wrestle him if I want to. I know I have all these different paths to victory. For him, he could only win one way, one specific way, and it has to be by knockout. Like he's not gonna outlast me. He's not gonna outwork me. He's not gonna outmuscle me. He's not gonna outgrapple me. So that's why I always just try to be the best version of myself. I don't really like to focus on him. More so, I like to be all right. What did we do last fight? Let's grow on that. Let's get better at that. And let's just show a different version of ourselves. So for this fight, that's what I plan on doing. I plan on just being like, all right, we showed a lot more striking last fight. We showed a lot more pressure that fight. Now watch what we do this fight. Now watch what we add this fight. Watch what we continue to grow in every single fight.
You mentioned like you could beat Jack in a lot of different ways, but would it mean the most to actually beat him standing just because that's what he's so well known for?
100%. And then for me, I could just change my name to Canelo Boxing, Canelo Hands, after I finish by knockout.
I love it. I love it. Now, we know that the lay of the land at welterweight changes so quickly because, again, a few months ago, you were going to fight Shavkat. I maybe you've heard more than I have. I've never heard the nature of his injury or how long he's going to be out, so I still have no idea. Obviously, I'm sure you saw what Sean did. I know you saw what Sean did to Leon Edwards. You commented on that on social media. And I think you said this in another interview, but like, again, I know you're only focused on Jack, certainly not taking attention away from him, but in your mind, like, is it still Shavkat, or is there a world where he could get jumped? Like, I thought Brady doing what he did to Leon Edwards was pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about this sport, right? Like even with Jack, he didn't have to go the road I took, right? All of a sudden it was like perfect timing. We took him away from the Leon fight and they gave him the title fight. Like you never know how it's going to be. For myself, if Shavkat's healthy, I think Shavkat deserves it. But like you said, nobody really knows what his injury is or how long he's gonna be out for. And then the train has to keep rolling. The train has to keep moving. So for the UFC, it's like, what are they gonna do? Sean Brady looked really good that fight, and he's looked good ever since that loss. I think he probably grew a lot from that loss. There's a lot of guys that when they lose, they come up with excuses, or there's guys when they lose, they get better and they grow and they try to fix things. And I think that's what he did. So that thing could have probably been the best thing for him. So for me, not looking past Jack at all. But there's guys on the horizon. You got the fight this weekend. You got Buckley still sitting there calling somebody out. You got Sean Brady right there. And then obviously Shavkat's right there. So there's a lot of guys in the division that I haven't fought yet. But I got to win first. I got to win this weekend or next weekend. And then after that, we can look at all these rest of the guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think ideally, Sean, Shavkat's the fight, but again, you just never know. Just like this, like the way Jack got in there. Like if I would have told you 4 months ago you're going to be fighting Jack Della Maddalena, you'd probably say, "Come on, man, that's not the matchup." Now,
yeah, what happened?
So Shavkat seems to be the guy, but who knows 3 or 4 months from now?
Yeah, I mean, you never know how the sport works, and it's so easy to get hurt training in the sport that a guy like him, who's had those long layoffs before from injuries, obviously, I wish him nothing but health. I wish him to be ready because obviously that's a big name. That's a big guy that I want to have in my record. I want to have his all in my record. But like I said, everything's God's hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know you have your tremendous team you work with in Chicago, but I know every time we talk, we always talk about the relationship you forged with Khabib and the guys from Dagestan. And I know that I don't think you've worked with them much for this camp. You've been mostly in Chicago, at least from what I understand. But I'm curious, you get a lot of compliments. I know you have your haters, Belal. That's the world we live in. But you have a lot of people who do give you compliments. I'm curious, what does it mean to you when a guy like Khabib comes out and says the things he says about you? Things like, you have the best cardio in the UFC, and he praises you. And I know we've talked about this before, like the whole Islam thing. Like he's like, no, that'll never happen. We care about our relationships more than we care about a belt, things like that. Like, what does it mean when a guy, because there's certain guys in our sport, right? Like Khabib is one of those guys. Like when he says something, everyone listens.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like the highest honor to get respect from him. And like I said, there's the fans or whatever, the trolls are going to hate, but to get the respect of your peers and to get respect of who I think is the GOAT in the UFC history, the best to ever do it. And for him to say that I have the best cardio and to hype me up like that, it means the world. Like just to get messages from him, right? Because like I look up to him and I want to, emulate him and his style and the way he fights and the way he acts as a champion. So yeah, it means the world. And like you said, for me, obviously my squad is here. We've had the training in Chicago, but I had guys come in and help me out. So huge shout outs to Magomed Mulatov from PFL, who's a killer. Ramiz Brahimaj is a killer. So I've had a good team around me. We started a camp with Brendan Allen down here a couple of weeks ago. So the people around me, they all want to see me win. They all want to see me grow. They all want to see me get better. And I just can't wait to show this new version of myself.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm curious, one thing I know you always keep an eye on the sport, Belal, and I think when your career is over, you could actually switch into being an analyst if you wanted to. But I'm curious, I'm sure you've seen this because I know how tight you are with Islam and those guys. Have you seen this, like this rumor floating around about Ilia Topuria maybe fighting for a title and it not being Islam? And I'm like, what is going like, listen, I have a ton of respect for Ilia Topuria. He's a monster. He took out two of the greatest featherweights of all time, but I've never quite understood this obsession with him needing to fight for a title immediately. And I understand Islam's argument, like, hey, I already beat Volkanovski twice and people already try to take that away from me. What do you make of this whole situation? I know I understand you're going to side with your guy Islam, but does this it's kind of a weird situation. Now they're talking about Ilia fighting Charles for a title. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's like the people never want to give Team Habib their respect, right? They want to see them lose so bad. They just want to, shun them and, put hate on them no matter what it is. Where like when he beats Volkanovski, who was the pound for pound best fighter in the world at that time in a close fight, it was like, oh, he sucks, blah, blah, blah. He didn't finish him. He should have finished him. He's a 45er. Then he goes out there, finishes him. And it's like, well, Volkanovski was a 45er. So now Topuria, I think he's a little bit smaller than Volkanovski. He's going to move up. And then if Islam dominates him, oh, well, he's a 45er. He could go back down. So there's really nothing to gain for Islam from fighting him. So when he says, oh, let him fight somebody else, earn it, like he's not saying I won't fight him. He's saying, bro, let him earn it. Like we already had to deal with this already. People are already shutting my resume. They're hating on me no matter what. So let him go out there, beat like a Charles Oliveira. Why would it have to be for a title? You vacated your title. You wanted to move up on your own. You didn't want to cut the weight. And it's not like you beat 10, you defended the belt like 10 times at 45 or at 5 times, right? When Volkanovski did it, he already beat everybody there. And, he was earned his shot to move up. Topuria, he still had Diego Lopez at the time. He still had Yair down there. Ivalov, who's undefeated, right? There's still a lot of guys for him at 45 to fight. He's just choosing to move up on his own. So that's why I think he should fight at least one more fight at 55 to earn a title shot. It shouldn't be no interim title shot. It shouldn't be nothing because this time's defending every year.
Yeah, 100%. It's not that I dislike Topuria. I don't, but I said this from the beginning, like have him fight Arman, have him fight Charles, have him fight anybody. Because if he wins that, then you can't deny him. Then you can say it's a legitimate fight. But his one fight at lightweight, he got knocked around a little bit in that one fight with Jai Herbert. I'm just saying, like, because we all know that's what's going to happen. If Islam goes out there and beats him like he beats everyone else, oh, you beat a featherweight. That's exactly the narrative that's going to happen.
Exactly. And like you said, he went up there already. He got dropped by Jai Herbert. We've seen him get taken down by Bryce Mitchell. Like if Islam gets on top of you, takes you down, you're not getting back up. If Islam hits you with that head kick, you're not getting back up. So for them, it's like, what am I going to gain from it? What is there to gain for Islam besides just the money, right? It's just like, all right, well, I haven't fought Justin Gaethje yet. He's no matter who Justin fights, he deserves a title shot, right? Like he could get one win and fight for a title. Paddy Pimblett's on a long streak right now. There's guys at 55 that he can fight. Arman's still there, right? There's other opponents for him to fight. So like he's not desperate to have to fight a 45er.
Yeah, and I know for a fact, by the way, he's not going to fight you. I love that. I love when Khabib said that. He's like, some things are more important than belts. And our relationship with Belal. It's funny because people try to turn it back on you, like, oh, you didn't want Islam. It's clearly stated they don't want, you guys are friends, you're not going to fight. I love when people try to turn around on you. They're like, oh, Belal doesn't want to fight Islam. Belal, I know deep down you will fight anybody, but you're not going to fight someone you have a relationship with like that.
Bro, I literally like tweeted out, I think Ian Gary wins this weekend, and I had people comment on it, oh, because you're afraid of protest. You hope that Gary wins because protest will kill you. And I'm just like, bro, like, what can I say? Like, can I say anything where you guys won't freaking cry or complain about it or something?
Yeah. Real quick before I get you out of here, Belal, I always bring this up because I know how important it is to you, which by the way, I'm so glad they restored your flag. I know it was a misunderstanding, it sounds like, but I'm glad it got fixed. I know that every fight for you is so important for Palestine. And I know I think you said in another interview, like that matters more to you than even the belt, just being an inspiration. So can I just ask, like, how much that I know it always plays a factor for you, but right now we know what's going on right now, and you got your first title defense. Like, this is a huge moment for you. Every time we talk about this in interviews, I get messages from people saying, thank you for bringing that up, because it almost feels like some people don't want you to talk about it. And I always bring it up when we talk.
Yeah, no, honestly, and I appreciate you for like giving me the platform to talk about it, right? Because it's hard, especially right now. And it's been over 2 years now where they're dying, they're starving. The people over there are in so much pain, and like the world's just watching it. The world's just coming up with excuses for it. It's wild, and yeah, for me, it just makes me want to work that much harder for them. It makes me want to uh, go to the gym and extra or run that extra mile, lift that extra weight because I can't lose. There's no way I'm going to let the people see uh, me not get my hand raised. When they see me fight that day, they're going to see that flag get raised. When they see me win that day, they're going to see that flag get raised. They're going to see me get on the mic and talk about them. They're going to see me get on the mic and be a voice for them. And the only way I can be that voice is by continuing to win. So I have to just keep continuing to work, keep continuing to push it. And it's all in God's hands, right? God has a plan for everything. And I'm hoping that this finally comes to an end soon.
You mentioned there real quick. I gotta say, so you are not only allowed, but you are going to carry the Palestine flag out with you in Montreal. Is that the plan?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we've talked about it. They've accepted it, and there's nothing that's going to stop me from doing it.
I remember when you did that in Abu Dhabi, how excited you were to. I remember we did a whole article about it back then. Now I can't even imagine the feeling of having that flag wrapped around you when you walk down to defend your title. Probably giving you goosebumps right now, even thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, it just means the world, and especially because like Will Harris just did a documentary after that fight, and it went into the Palestinian Film Festival over here in Chicago. So it's cool to see the exposure it's getting, and for the people, like I said, I've just been getting so many messages, people just wanting to know what's happening there, right? Just because they see me carrying that flag and wondering what it means and what it means to me. And like, if you're human, you want to know what's going on there. If you're human and you see it and you ignore it, um, you're not really human. You don't have a soul. If you can see that kid starving, if you see kids dying, if you see uh, mothers suffering, and you just turn your head away, yeah, like look at yourself in the mirror and really ask yourself, what would I do if those people were from a different country? What would I do if those people weren't Arab? What would I do if those people weren't this color, right? There's just so many people out here that are afraid to speak up, afraid to say something, afraid to do anything because they're afraid of the consequences. But there shouldn't be consequences for being human.